Liverpool beat Wolves 3-1 in the FA Cup to move on to the quarter-finals with goals from Andy Robertson, of all people, Mo Salah, and Curtis Jones before conceding again in injury time, only this time it didn't matter. Welcome to Kop That. I'm Chris. This is your calm and friendly-ish. No drama, no knee-jerk, no clickbait, no bullshit. Look at the game. Episode 12. So let's get right into it. The game yesterday was fairly, it was very similar to the game on Tuesday, with the big difference being Liverpool took the chances. We'll go into that a little bit, the similarities, and what that means for people's perspective. Because the perspectives are a little bit all over the place. People's views on these things are just infuriating. But anyway, the game, Liverpool played the first half with a little bit more intent than he did on Tuesday. It was a little bit quicker. We had Rio and Andy Robertson on the left, which was a noticeable difference. They seem to be on the same wavelength. Rio knows how to use an overlap. Robertson knows when to overlap, when to underlap, when to actually help out, when to stay back. They created a few chances. We had an early opening with, I think, Gakpo. 5 minutes in or so. Hit the post. It's gone down as hitting the woodwork. I think so. Maybe he was onside. It was tight. It would have went to VAR anyway, because we had VAR, which came into play later. There's the first round that it's been involved in the FA Cup this season. There's a few little, hot shots from outside the area. A couple of shots. I think Rio had one saved. Nothing crazy in the first half, but there were chances. And it seemed to just be a matter of see if we can get something or just be better and then win it in the second half, which seemed to be, well, it worked. Wolves again for the second first half in a row, because the same happened on Tuesday. Not a single shot in the first half, in the first 45 minutes. That's 90 minutes worth of first half football that they played against us this week without a single effort on or off target. They were staying compact. They were making it really difficult again, which I feel gets. This is why I feel like a lot of these comments about Liverpool are unfair, in that teams do this, and then when they play a little bit more in the second half, that's when Liverpool do the damage. But what used to be called parking the bus, it's now known as just a low block. Well, it used to be called parking the bus, where they just try everything to stop you scoring. That's their entire game plan, is to stop you scoring. Of course, the game goes differently if that first chance goes in. It doesn't. We get to half time. It's 0-0. Second half, within, I think, 5 minutes, Mo Salah gets the ball on the right, cuts back across his man, cuts back across another man, and another man plays a nice little pass through the legs to Curtis Jones, who lays it off for Andy Robertson, who smashes in an absolute beauty with his left foot. Obviously, if you've seen him shoot with his right, you'll know that I didn't need to say that. But it's a great goal. Andy Robertson's 13th for Liverpool in over 350 something appearances. Didn't actually check that. But yeah, he scored 13 goals for us. I think that was his best one that I can remember, at least. And weirdly, he's only scored 13 times in that many games. He's actually scored 2 of those goals now at Molineux. So the chances of him scoring so few goals, but 2 of them being at the same ground, is kind of just a bit weird. It's quite nice as well for him. So he's got a nice ground for himself, but he's a prolific goal scorer, Andy Robertson. I was wondering after this, because I said this on the live stream as well, I didn't know if we were going to panic or go for the second goal. I'd barely finished this out loud musing when Rio gets the ball on the left. He cuts inside. Robertson makes the overlap. Rio uses him. It's nice to see this on the left. He uses him. Robertson seems almost off balance. He puts in an absolute peeler of a cross right across the 6-yard box. Salah smashes it into the roof of the net. He turns around and in disbelief, the linesman's flag is raised. Now, Slot said in his press conference afterwards, he is hardly ever caught offside. And he's right. Like, I was almost as surprised as Mo that the flag had gone up. That's not very Mo Salah. But we've got VAR in this round. And when they showed the replay of it, it's like, he's probably a little bit off. But I wasn't looking at the ball initially. He is ahead of the defenders, but so is Andy Robertson with the ball. So the offside becomes if Mo Salah is behind the ball, which he was just about. So that goal's given. That's 2-0. And we're cruising at this point, to be honest. Wolves are still not offering up much at all. I was expecting more out of them, especially at 2-0. It's a cup game. You know, there's no goal difference, which I think played a part in Liverpool's antics later. But they didn't do much. Again, a couple of little chances from outside the area. Rio's cutting in. He's putting Wolves defenders on the face. They're falling over each other, trying to deal with them. But then we have a nice little interplay, I think, between Gravenberch and Jones. And Jones takes one man on, cuts across onto his left, passes the ball into the far corner, and that's 3-0. And it's game over, effectively. Liverpool into the quarterfinals. Then what happens is we make a bunch of subs. The game sort of dies off around 70 odd minutes. The game sort of dies off because Wirtz gets more minutes than I think any of us were expecting. Frimpong comes on. We have Nioni coming on. Kanate coming on because 3-0 is just unacceptable. It wasn't even him. He wasn't at fault for the goal. It's just as soon as he came on, I'm like, oh, we're fucking gonna concede here. But almost something weird happened because he nearly scores. Gravenberch gets inside the 18-yard box. He kind of chips the ball across what would be an empty net. And Kanate from about a yard out just misses the ball completely. That should be 4-0. But Liverpool in the late game, they look like they're treating this as a training session, for set pieces. Because we're 3-0 up. We don't need to be sending numerous players forward. You don't need all your centre backs and fucking defenders and everything all going forward. You don't need that. You're 3-0 up. Try and protect the clean sheet. But it looked like they were using this as in game practice, which I'm fine with. It's like I said before, it's the FA Cup. There's no goal difference or anything like that. You're not as bothered if you concede. But it still would have been nice to get the clean sheet. But at the same time, I can kind of understand working on some stuff while you've got an opportunity to do it. But it was one of these set pieces we've thrown so many people forward that Johnston comes out and collects the ball and he hoofs it long. And Chan, who is onside, he starts inside his own half, gets ahead of Soboslai, who looks like he tries to take the ball down rather than get rid of it or just track his man. And he's through, gets across Soboslai and puts a nice finish into the far corner. It was fairly similar to the goal he scored on Tuesday. I think the goal on Tuesday was a fucking superb finish. But we concede again in injury time. Only this time it's a consolation and not a winner, which is one thing that was different about this game. And there were not many things that were different about this game, as I'm about to show you. Right, so this is yesterday. I need to actually double check this because this is yesterday, right? They're actually so similar. And this is on Sky Sports. They haven't included the hit the woodwork, so I'm assuming that would have been offside from Gakpo, according to Sky Sports at least. Well, let's look at it, shall we? Yesterday, 20 shots. Tuesday, 20 shots. Yesterday, 9 on target. Tuesday, 7 on target. Yesterday, 5 off target. Tuesday, 10 off target. Didn't hit the woodwork yesterday, as it turned out. Tuesday, hit the woodwork twice. 6 block shots yesterday. 3 block shots on Tuesday. Only 36 touches in the opposition box yesterday. 47 on Tuesday. 11 corners Tuesday. 11 corners yesterday. Possession was, I think it was, what are we on, 66.9. Yesterday, 65, was it? 65.8 on Tuesday. And you can see just the similarities between the two games, because the performances in general were not actually bad. But people were more positive about the performance yesterday than they were on Tuesday, for obvious reasons, because the result was the one that was different. That's the stat that matters. But what I'm trying to say is that this follows a theme. I've talked about it a lot, a lot. It doesn't seem to sink in with people. Is that we're not as bad as people make out. It's that taking our chances, people feel better about it, and they talk less bullshit. And there's a lot of bullshit being talked about. Like when I think it was after the West Ham game, Slot said people were coming up to him saying, well played, because we won 5-2. And he said, all I was thinking was, we've played better this season and lost. I think we played better on Tuesday than we did against West Ham, personally. And in some aspects, we played better Tuesday than we did yesterday. And in some aspects, we played better yesterday than we did Tuesday. But we didn't actually play bad in either of these things. And I know a lot of people are like, but it's boring. I don't give a fuck. This is not the finished product that you're looking at here. This is what we build the finished product on. This is the bit that needs to sink in with people. You moaning, whiny ass little bastards. Please, shut the fuck up. Just shut up till the end of the season. Please. I'm begging you. What we've got, you see in Rio yesterday, you see Frimpong coming on more and more. We're looking at him on the right, Rio on the left, Ekatike or Isak in the middle, Verts behind him. We'll have Kirk as a left back, maybe another right back if we can't keep Bradley fit. And then we'll have our centre backs, Leone when he comes back, because he only played an hour, but he looked great there. We're building. All these players are replacements. Next summer, we've got young, quick, exciting players. That is what we're building towards. This is not okay. So can we please stop with this? This is before the game yesterday. Did you see it? As a Liverpool fan, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I almost want us to lose this evening. If we do, Slot has to go. It feels like necessary pain for the greater good of the club. So he recognises that necessary pain for the greater good of the club is a thing. He acknowledges the concept of it, but he can't see it when it's right in front of him. See, these are people who they text this in knowing that it can be put out there publicly. Let's look for another one. There we go. Liverpool fan who sadly agrees with Matt at 1909. We've lacked energy and fight since that week in February 2025 when we lost to PSG and Newcastle. Arne Slot has improved us in some aspects. So again, something's acknowledged, but the pieces are falling into fucking place for people. But the life has gone from the team. Again, you can see the future. It's been over a year, and it's just not Liverpool. Any Liverpool fan that wants us to lose tonight needs to give their heads a wobble. Well said, Will from Devon. Liverpool's play is so slow, laborious, sideways and backwards it gives any opposition side the time needed to reorganise and nullify Liverpool. Teams know the Liverpool way, and Liverpool don't know how to counteract the opposition tactics. He said a couple of hours before we did exactly the thing he said we can't do. I'm stuck for words. It looks like it's going to be one of the worst seasons in many. Arne Slot is not good enough for Liverpool. We won the Premier League with Klopp's side. Gee, how many times did this one need to be fucking Klopp didn't win it with that side? The longer this goes on, the worse it's going to get. Oh, too many negative comments about Liverpool. I'll leave that one on because it's right, actually. Liverpool played better against Wolves than Arsenal played against Brighton. It's actually correct. But it's this constantly. We've now lost 3 games in 23, which is a huge improvement on losing 9 and 12. But as I've said, these people are pathetic. these people are people who were probably saying the same thing a lot of us were. We give our managers time. If they don't build their entire squad in 1 year, though, get the fuck out. This was the mood going into the game when we lost, right? And again, third loss in 23 games. People's biggest complaint is that it's boring. And we've seen the exciting players that we've got who will not be boring, right? Because that's what Slot wants to build towards. We can see that. But this entitlement, this entertain me or I will want you to be sacked, the ego behind this shit is unreal. It really fucking is. Your entertainment, first of all, is not the priority. I need to put that out there. It's a sport, okay? You aim for it. You want to be entertaining and win games that way and what have you. The Premier League as a whole this season, uh, they seem to have had a meeting before the season and decided that that's not even remotely a priority. If you don't look at Liverpool in the context of this season as a whole, then you've got no credibility in your fucking opinions, frankly, because you are not applying the world that Liverpool are playing in to Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's been taking points off fucking everybody this season in the league. Anybody can beat anybody. Anybody can draw with anybody. Anything can happen. And it's been a horrible watch. It has. And there's been a lot of that with Liverpool. I don't think. I feel like it's unfair anyway. That criticism given, we've bought in a bunch of replacements and we haven't had a chance to build on the squad yet. We've just lost a few players, brought some players in. That's it. We've just swapped a few out. So because that kills that whole. You spent 400 and something million quid in the summer. But yeah, on replacements. If we spend 450 million in the summer on additions to the squad and then we fail, that judgment is fair. If this, like I said, if this is the finished product, that criticism, that judgment is fair. What Slot's had to deal with this season has been difficult enough anyway because it's a transition season in this Premier League season, which has just made everything for all clubs or most clubs more difficult. Football teams that want to actually play, have struggled because the league's just not very forgiving of that. And in that season, Liverpool are in the knockout stage of the Champions League. We're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, and we're 3 points off third. And I've got people in this fucking BBC thing here knowing that this could be made public because it's on their fucking website, saying that this is going to be one of the worst seasons in many, which is a weirdly worded sentence in itself. But they've either not been watching a lot of football over the last decade, or they just can't remember things. We haven't been as bad as people have made it out. The season, if you take the European football out of it, because the Champions League and Europa League, they've been really good to watch. If you take those tournaments out of it, and you just look at like Premier League and the domestic cups, it's been a horrible watch. And Slot had to deal with all of that, plus injuries, this massively weird change in style in this country. And while he's dealing with all of that, he's trying to build his own squad with big players being injured and his own fan base being worse to him than the opposition fan bases. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for clicks. Fuck you. This knee jerk shit constantly. It needs to stop. You can think before you type. I've gone into this in the last video. You can think hard about what you're going to say. And it's not, do I believe this? When I say think about what you say, I mean, think about why you're saying it. Where's it coming from? Is it right? Is it backed up by data? Is it backed up by facts? Is it backed up by anything at all other than your fucking boredom? No, it's not. It just isn't. Hopefully the board have a lot more sense than a lot of you fucking people who just can't stop themselves. Most Liverpool supporters do not say these things. So it seems like this little minority of people who are just very loud are representative of all Liverpool support. They're not. They are not. Most of us want to see how this pans out. We want to see if, a Premier League winning manager can build his own squad and do more. Like he did with Feyenoord when he won the Eredivisie, then came over here, won the Premier League with somebody else's team who he didn't win the league with them. Maybe let him build it. I was expecting people to give him a year and a half when the rebuild started. You gave him, 5-6 months where you're all dug in and started wanting him out. Most of us want to see how this pans out, and I'll say that most of us. These vocal fucking bastards who are just so fucking negative. You make things worse. You make things that are good not so good. You make things that are not so good shit, and you make things that are shit even worse for your clicks. Fuck you. Anyway, I don't want to end on a negative because we won and we're through to the quarterfinals, and we've got a Champions League knockout game on Tuesday away to Galatasaray. We have the early kickoff. Don't forget that, people. I think it's the first time this season we've been the. Is it the first time this season we've been the early kickoff? So 5:45 UK time. I've got that, and then is it Spurs? Somebody in the league next week. So the big games keep coming thick and fast. Some players have had a rest. We'll have players coming back from injury soon, or a couple at least. Oh yeah, apparently McAllister was fine. I don't know. I don't think he went off with a little bit of a knock yesterday. Apparently he's fine. Don't have to worry about that. Got to throw that in earlier. So we can enjoy our weekend here. There's a lot of football on the City in Newcastle. I think there's a Wrexham versus Chelsea. That'll be an interesting one. We can just enjoy our weekend of football. Now we're going to be in Monday's draw. Apparently we're ball number 6, if I remember right. I did see the thing earlier. I think we're ball number 6. On Monday, we'll see who we get in the quarters. One game away from a trip to Wembley. Good performance. Good mood. I've vented a little bit now. I feel better. So yeah, the next episode of this will be, I think, the player ratings with the early kickoff on Tuesday. So the player ratings will be out that night, Tuesday night, for the Galatasaray game. And episode 13 of this, unlucky for some, episode 13 of this will be Wednesday. And then we will see where we are then. So what will be a tricky game away to Galatasaray. Not so much the team, because they're not bad by any stretch, but the atmosphere. It's a sick atmosphere. And it'll just be interesting to see if any younger players get a game at any point and how players deal with that. Maybe players who've never been in that atmosphere before. So that's going to be interesting. And we'll look forward to that. And we can go into it with a good fucking mood. So until then, till Tuesday night, up the Reds and slot in.